Hello, everybody, and this is just Mitch, and we're talking about Dune Part 2, the new movie from Denis Villeneuve and Warner Brothers Discovery. To start off, this is one of the best films I have ever freaking seen. Already the best film of the year, and it's only March, and I can't begin to comprehend what I just witnessed last night. It was phenomenal. The CGI was not even present because it was all practical effects from Denis Villeneuve. I feel like he's taken a lot of notes from Christopher Nolan and Ridley Scott because I just felt like there was so much going on, and I really appreciate the grand spectacle of things because it was just awesome to watch. And I can't. Y'all just need to see it. I saw it in Dolby, and you have to see it in the biggest screen possible. I'm just going to start this review out right now, okay? So you need to see it in the biggest screen possible. So this film picks up right after the first Dune, and I do need to start off that you need to see the first Dune from 2021 in order to get the majority of what's going on in this second part. I will say the script from Denis Villeneuve and John Space, it does help you a little bit, but you do need to come into the theater after having seen the first Dune. I do have to say the script from Denis Villeneuve and John Space actually helps you out a little bit if you haven't seen it and kind of plugs in the pieces if you get confused, but it's a must. I watched the first part in 2021 when it was released day and date with HBO Max, and I probably should have rewatched it before coming into this. So definitely at least try to watch the first Dune before coming into this because it is completely necessary. You won't be lost, but you might have a few head scratcher moments. But at the end of the day, just see the first film and the rest of this part will help you out. Now, here comes the review part. To start this spoiler-free part of the review, this is truly a spectacle, okay? I've never seen a film like this that really had me in awe from start to finish since 2008 Christopher Nolan's A Dark Knight. And I genuinely can't say anything bad about what I just saw. The performances from all the cast were great. Timothée Chalamet was great. Zendaya was great. I really don't have anything bad to say about this film because you just can't. It's truly a masterpiece in and of itself, and it is a perfect blockbuster film, and it's a perfect explanation of what people should see in the movie theater. It's a hands down definition of what makes cinema great. It had everything. It had practical effects, it had great performances, it had great storytelling. It's just a perfect way of seeing a world like this come into life, all thanks to Denis Villeneuve's directing style. There wasn't that much CGI in this film, even though, yeah, there's going to be some, especially when it comes to since it's so far into the future and things. But I really just didn't feel that the CGI was there. I do also have to say that the majority of this film is set in the desert with the Freeman as Paul is trying to learn their ways and becoming their messiah, if you will. And I also need to point out that the majority of this film is a coming of age film for Paul because at first he didn't want to be this messiah. He just wanted to learn the ways of the Freeman, try to take down the Emperor, and get revenge for him killing his father. And I really felt like throughout the film, the coming of age was so present, and that's what was necessary about this second film because the first film was just an introduction to all the characters and the world building and everything else, whereas this okay, we know what's going on, we know the world, now let's see what's going to happen in the future. So for this film to do that, it's incredibly hard, and they deliver that in spades. I mentioned the performances, yes, they were all great, but there were some that had not enough screen time, like Austin Butler and Florence Pugh and Christopher Walken. No, I will not do an impersonation of Christopher Walken on this channel. Sorry, I'm not very good at it. But yeah, their screen time wasn't all there, even though I kind of understood why it wasn't all there, because I feel like they're going to have some bigger bits, especially Florence Pugh and Christopher Walken. They may have some more going on in the third part. Now, with the secondary characters' limited screen time, I feel like it didn't hurt the film, but I wanted more from those characters. So, like I mentioned, if there is a third part, and there will be a third part, you're going to hear me say it now, there will be a third part. I just hope that those characters, they're more fleshed out and they have more things to do, and I truly want to care about them, because I cared more about the other characters such as Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya and Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem was a great addition in this film. He was so funny, and which is really rare for him. He doesn't really do a lot of comedy. I know he did Pirates of the Caribbean. He was really funny in, but he was hilarious in this film. I really appreciated him. Josh Brolin, who was in the first one, didn't really have a lot to do in this one, so I was a little disappointed by that. But at the end of the day, with so many characters and so much else going on, you really had to just get over it, because there was so much other like practical effects and other characters that you need to care about in order to get the rest of the story. So I didn't really get that upset about it. Okay, now I'm going to review it. Here I am going to give Dune Part 2 a perfect 5 stars out of 5. I truly could not find anything wrong with this film. I truly could not. You heard it here first. This is the first review that I'm posting. I give it a perfect 5 out of 5. I can't think of anything bad other than, yeah, the secondary characters, they needed more fleshing out, but that was expected because of everything else that needed to be done, because it's Paul's story. It doesn't really matter about the other secondary characters, which, I mean, they helped him get through other stuff, but I truly felt like this was Paul's coming of age story in the Dune franchise. So at the end of the day, I can't really fault Denis Villeneuve and John Space's screenplay for kind of leaving the secondary characters off to the side. And like I mentioned before, the practical effects in this was just top notch. The cinematography was just mind blowing, and also the score. The score from Hans Zimmer was chef's kiss. This film wouldn't be near as good without the music, because you hear it immediately when the film starts. There's just like the big blare, and it's exactly what you want to hear in Dune. And it also gave you a sense of like, wow, like this film is set in a desert wasteland. And that's what it needed, and only Hans Zimmer could have brought that. Now, spoilers. So if you want to leave, bye. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and comment what you thought of the film. Paul drinks the water of life, becomes the Messiah, and challenges the Emperor, played by Christopher Walken, to a duel. And the Emperor doesn't want to duel him because, he's old and frail. So he decides to have a champion, and it's Austin Butler's character, Fred Rotha. I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head, because also, I'm going to be completely honest, Austin Butler was forgettable in this film. He was good, but I didn't care about his character, because not only was he like the baddie, if you will, he was weird. I didn't really know what he was trying to go for. I didn't know if he was going for like a Heath Ledger villain kind of deal, but I just didn't really like him in this film. He is defeated by Timothée Chalamet, by Paul, who then becomes the Emperor and takes Florence Pugh's character as his wife. And she is the Emperor's daughter, who then upsets Zendaya's character, and she leaves Paul, even though they had like the really long love story throughout the film, which was kind of out of place for me, but again, it didn't really hurt the film. I knew it was coming, so it wasn't that bad. I believed it, but she leaves, and the film ends kind of on a cliffhanger, if you will, as she's like ready to rope up a worm, like a worm kind of creature set in the desert, and the film ends, and you see that this war is about to start. And that's what they were talking about like throughout the whole film, that this war was going to happen. So I really hope that the ending of this cliffhanger really starts this war for this third film, that I know for a fact that this is going to happen. It's going to happen. So you got to have to make this third film. Do it, Warner Brothers. Do it, Denis Villeneuve. Do it. We all want a Dune Part 3. Trust me. So there you have it. Let me know down in the comments what you thought. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And for sure, see this film in the biggest screen possible. And definitely let me know what you thought. But until next time, I'm Mitch. And this is just Mitch. And I will see you next time.